Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're completely ditching those cheap, short-term productivity hacks that, let's be honest, never actually stick. Instead, we're uncovering a 2,000-year-old psychological paradigm shift designed to literally destroy procrastination. We're going to dive deep into the ancient wisdom of the Stoics to fundamentally rewire exactly how we perceive our time and our work. Okay, let's kick things off by facing a really uncomfortable modern reality. We live in an era where we constantly feel like we have absolutely zero time. We're stressed, we're rushed, and yet, somehow, we still manage to waste hours endlessly scrolling through 15-second videos, completely dodging the hard work that actually matters. It's a massive contradiction, right? We claim to be starved for time, yet we throw it away like it's totally worthless. So why exactly do we do this? Well, the culprit is what we call existential busyness. We've completely fallen into a trap. We confuse the chaotic frenzy of checking off trivial tasks, answering pings, and clearing out our notifications with actual, meaningful productivity. The ancient philosopher Socrates warned us to beware the barrenness of a busy life. Being productive in the ancient sense isn't about just doing more stuff. It's about cultivating a calm mind, maintaining deep focus, and engaging in purposeful action. Right now, as a society, we're doing the exact opposite. Just think about how a typical day gets squandered. Imagine taking a massive chunk of your day and just handing it over to digital distractions, unfounded anxieties, and the constant demands of everyone else. That tiny sliver left over, that's the time we actually own. We willingly hand over the most precious, non-renewable resource we have to algorithms designed to hijack our attention. We're basically living our lives for everyone and everything else except ourselves. Section 1, Seneca's Secret to Time Wasted. To find a real cure for this modern epidemic, we definitely don't need another app. Instead, we need to look to the ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca, who diagnosed this exact epidemic of distraction over 2 millennia ago in his phenomenal essay on the shortness of life. Now, what's really fascinating here is how Seneca totally flips the script on us. We're always complaining that life is too short, right? But Seneca says, no, actually. Life is plenty long enough for our highest achievements, provided we genuinely invest our time, rather than just mindlessly spend it. The problem isn't the supply of our time, it's our staggering wastefulness. It's honestly a bizarre paradox, isn't it? Think about it. If someone tries to steal your wallet or your car, you'd fight them off tooth and nail. We are fiercely protective of our physical belongings. But when it comes to time, an asset we can literally never earn back once it's gone, we're remarkably careless. We just let people demand it, we let screens drain it, and we walk around acting like we've got an infinite supply sitting in the bank. So here comes a harsh but totally necessary reality check. Are you actually productive, or are you just busy? You really have to honestly ask yourself if your daily exhaustion is the result of moving closer to your true goals, or if you're just a victim of this busyness epidemic, toiling away at other people's priorities. Because if you're just existing in a constant state of reaction, well, you aren't really living. Which brings us to part 2, the antidote, Memento Mori. To break out of this trance, we need a psychological shock to the system. We need the ultimate framework for crystallizing your focus, a concept the Stoics called Memento Mori. Literally translated, Memento Mori means remember that you must die. Now hold on, I know that sounds incredibly dark, but far from being some morbid obsession with death, this is actually a rallying cry. It's a powerful psychological tool used to squeeze every single drop out of the present moment and completely obliterate the illusion of tomorrow. When you truly remember your time is finite, you stop treating it like garbage. The absolute game changer here is that when you keep your mortality front and center in your mind, the urge to procrastinate just vanishes. Why? Because you suddenly realize that the time you're wasting scrolling on your phone right now might literally be the very last time you have. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius used this exact thought to guide his daily actions. It resets your priorities in an instant. Moving into part 3, control what you can, the tactical application. Now that we've got the mindset down, let's figure out exactly how to apply this ancient wisdom tactically to our stressful, overflowing modern to-do lists. This brings us to a concept from the philosopher Epictetus that is just incredibly reassuring: the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that a massive amount of our procrastination actually stems from pure anxiety. We worry about things totally out of our hands, like what people will think if the economy is going to crash or if our tech will glitch out. That worry completely drains our cognitive energy and paralyzes us. Think of it like a mental filter. By actively filtering your attention and just refusing to stress over uncontrollable externals like train delays or other people's opinions, you immediately reclaim your mental bandwidth. You take all that wasted, anxious energy and pour it directly into the controllable internals, your reactions, your effort, and the actual work right in front of you. Epictetus is basically forcing us to accept reality here. We literally cannot prevent unexpected disruptions from ruining our perfectly color-coded schedules. It's going to happen. But we have absolute power over our internal state. We have the ultimate power to decide whether we sit down and do the work anyway. It's all about focusing on the effort, not the outcome. Which leads us to part 4, doing less but better, the art of elimination. Once we reclaim our focus from anxiety and distraction, the very next step is taking a scalpel to our tasks. We have to apply the Stoic principle of radical elimination. Think about this. Marcus Aurelius ruled an entire empire. Yet he knew that to produce high-quality work and keep his sanity, you have to ruthlessly cut away the non-essential. All those little busy work items that trick you into feeling productive, they're actually your enemy. If a task doesn't move the needle, it absolutely has to go. To actually pull this off and cultivate the Stoic ideal of a calm mind, you have to treat your focus like a master sculptor treats a block of marble. You don't add to the stone. You continually chip away. You chip away the distractions, the toxic inputs, and the low-value busy work. You just keep chipping until only the masterpiece remains. But, even when we strip away all that noise, we still hesitate. Why is that? Well, because procrastination is so often just masked fear. It's the fear of the work being too difficult, or the nagging fear that we might fail. We just tell ourselves we'll do it later when we finally feel ready. Well, the Stoics had a brilliant counterattack for this kind of task paralysis. They called it premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Instead of hiding from your fear, you stare it down. By systematically imagining everything that could possibly go wrong with your project, you psychologically prepare yourself. You strip the fear of its power, realize the worst-case scenario is actually survivable, and you give yourself the courage to take that single foundational first step. All right, part 5, start living immediately. The final push. We've seen exactly how distraction steals our lives. We've seen how a stoic awareness of time, combined with radical elimination and facing our fears, can snap us back to reality. And this leads us to our final, incredibly urgent takeaway. Seneca completely understood that the absolute greatest lie we tell ourselves is that we'll somehow be more ready, more motivated, or have more time tomorrow. Expectancy is the ultimate obstacle to actually living. The truth? Tomorrow is promised to absolutely no one. When you put off your meaningful work, you are actively denying yourself the present moment. This right here is the true, unfiltered power of Memento Mori. It resets your life right now in this exact moment. It demands that you stop treating your time as an infinite resource and start applying your focus to what truly matters. Imagine your life up to this point is over. Whatever time you have left is just a bonus. So use it properly. That really hits hard, doesn't it? So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to think about the very next task on your to-do list. Internalize the shortness of your life, channel that stoic urgency, and ask yourself this final question. Will you keep merely existing, tossing about in a sea of distractions, or will you start living immediately? The choice is entirely up to you.